Do you really think the speed of light is just a number? 299,792,458 meters per second. Fast, staggeringly fast, the fastest motion we know exists. Fine. But why is that the ceiling? Why is there a barrier? What actually prevents you from going beyond it? Most people never pause to question it. They simply accept it. Einstein said so. The speed of light is the universal limit. That's the rule. But that isn't an explanation. That's just repeating a claim. When you seriously ask why nothing can exceed light, when you dig into what is truly stopping you, you uncover something so unfamiliar, so removed from everyday experience, that it reshapes how you understand space and time. The speed of light is not merely a velocity. It is not just the fastest thing. It is part of the universe's structure. It is woven into space and time so deeply that faster stops having meaning. Let me show you. We'll begin with something basic, something everyone recognizes. Objects fall. Release something and it drops. 16 feet in the first second, precisely. That's what Galileo measured. A ball, a stone, anything. In 1 second, it falls 16 feet. Now look at the moon. The moon moves around Earth. It isn't plunging straight down. It stays up there, tracing a circle. But is it really not falling? Think about it. If the moon were motionless in space, gravity would pull it straight in. It would crash into Earth. But the moon has sideways motion. It moves along its path. While gravity pulls it inward, that sideways motion carries it forward, so it keeps missing Earth. It is falling, but never hitting. That is an orbit. Continuous falling combined with enough sideways speed to avoid collision. This is where Newton had his breakthrough. The moon is about 240,000 miles from Earth's center. We stand roughly 4,000 miles from that center. So the moon is about 60 times farther away. Newton asked, what if gravity weakens with distance? What if it follows an inverse square rule? Double the distance, gravity becomes 4 times weaker. Triple the distance, 9 times weaker. 60 times farther means 60 squared times weaker. That is 3,600 times weaker. On Earth, objects fall 16 feet in 1 second. If gravity at the moon is 3,600 times weaker, then the moon should fall 16 feet divided by 3,600. Do the calculation. 16 divided by 3,600 is about 1/12 of an inch per second squared. Let me say it another way. Over 1 second, something at the moon's distance should fall 1/12 of an inch times 3,600, because distance scales with time squared. 1/12 of an inch multiplied by 3,600 gives 16 feet. Exactly what we measure here. Newton computed how much the moon should drop toward Earth in 1 second if gravity followed this law, and it matched perfectly. This was enormous. It wasn't a guess. It was a prediction. He connected how fast objects fall on Earth with the moon's orbital period and distance. 2. Facts that seemed unrelated suddenly fit under one law: gravitation. From that moment, the theory was locked in. Then he went further. He worked out the shape of planetary paths under an inverse square force and found they must be ellipses, and they are. Kepler had observed this. Newton explained it. One idea, multiple victories. Then more pieces clicked. The tides. Why do oceans rise and fall? Because the moon pulls on Earth. But if the moon simply dragged water toward it, there should be one high tide per day, facing the moon. Yet we see 2, about every 12 hours. Why? Some thought Earth was pulled away from the water. Others thought water was pulled toward the moon. Both were partly right. Neither was complete. Newton saw the full picture. The moon pulls on Earth and on the water, but not equally. Water on the near side is closer to the moon, so it is pulled more strongly. Water on the far side is farther away, so it is pulled less. Earth itself is pulled in between. That creates two bulges, one where water is drawn toward the moon, one where water is left behind as Earth moves. Two tides. Earth and moon also orbit a shared center of mass. The system spins. When everything is included, the pattern makes sense. Tides explained, other things followed. Why is Earth round? Because gravity pulls inward. Why is it slightly flattened at the poles? Because it spins. Why are the sun and moon round? Same reason. Gravity shapes them. As measurements improved, Newton's law faced tougher tests. The first serious challenge came from Jupiter's moons. Careful tracking showed they were sometimes 8 minutes early and sometimes 8 minutes late compared to predictions. 8 minutes is enormous. Something was off. Then a pattern appeared. They were early when Jupiter was closer to Earth and late when Jupiter was farther away. Strange. Ole Rømer trusted gravity and drew a bold conclusion. Light takes time to travel. When Jupiter is nearer, light arrives sooner. When Jupiter is farther, light arrives later. We are not seeing the moons as they are, but as they were. By measuring these delays, he calculated the speed of light. This was the first proof that light is not instantaneous. Think about that. The speed of light was discovered by trusting gravity. One law revealed another. That is how science grows. One truth exposes the next. This process has been building for 400 years, each discovery becoming a tool for more discovery, an avalanche of understanding. Now here is the strange part. Once the speed of light was known, something shocking emerged. Light always moves at the same speed. Always. No matter who measures it, no matter how fast you are moving, stand still, shine a flashlight, measure the beam. 298,792,458 meters per second. Fine. Now board a train moving at half the speed of light. Shine the flashlight forward. Common sense says the light should go faster. Your speed plus the beam's speed. Like throwing a ball from a moving train. But that does not happen. You measure it. Still 299,792,458. Try again at 90% of light speed. Same result. Push it to 99.9999%. Still unchanged. The speed of light does not add. It does not combine. It remains fixed. This should feel impossible. Nothing in daily life behaves this way. Speeds add. Light refuses. Einstein realized the only solution. Space and time must be flexible. When you move, time slows for you. Your clock actually ticks more slowly. Distances shrink. Space compresses. These are not illusions. They are real, measured, confirmed, and they change by exactly the right amount to keep light speed constant. The universe bends space and stretches time to protect that speed. That is not poetry. That is physics. So the speed of light is not merely a speed. It is a structural feature. Space and time are arranged so that this value is the same for everyone. Now push further. Try to accelerate anything with mass toward the speed of light. The closer you get, the harder it becomes. Not because your engine is weak, not because you run out of fuel. The object itself resists more and more. Its inertia grows. As you approach light speed, that resistance approaches infinity. To reach the speed of light would require infinite energy. Impossible. So nothing with mass can ever get there. Light can because light has no mass, zero. Massless particles move at that speed by necessity. They cannot slow down. But anything with mass can only approach, never reach. The universe will not allow it. Why is it built this way? Why is there a limit at all? Here is the frustrating answer. There is no deeper why. The speed of light is not imposed. It emerges from how space-time is built. Space and time are not separate. They are woven together. And that geometry has a built-in conversion factor. That factor is the speed of light. It is the maximum rate at which cause and effect can propagate. Light happens to move at that rate because it has no mass. But the rate itself belongs to space-time, not to light. Even if light did not exist, the limit would remain. Think about it this way. You are always moving through space-time, always. If you are standing still in space, all your motion is through time. 1 second per second. But when you move through space, some of that motion is redirected. You move through space and time, so you move through time more slowly. The faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. There is a maximum. At the speed of light, all motion is through space. None is left for time. Time stops. That is why light does not experience time. From a photon's perspective, emission and absorption are the same instant. You cannot go faster because you cannot have less than 0 time. That is the wall. And this is not speculation. It is tested, repeatedly. Particles in accelerators behave exactly this way. GPS satellites must correct for time dilation, muons from cosmic rays, live longer because time slows for them. Every prediction checks out. So why is the speed of light the limit? Because space-time has a maximum rate of cause and effect. That rate is the speed of light. Not because light is special, but because space-time itself has this built-in structure. Going faster would require reversing time. That makes no sense. You cannot undo cause and effect. The speed of light is the speed at which now spreads through the universe. It is the speed of information, the speed of forces, the maximum rate of change. This story began with Newton watching the moon, then Roemer watching Jupiter's moons, then Einstein realizing light is constant, then thousands of experiments confirming it. Each discovery building on the last, each insight opening the next door. The speed of light is not just a number. It is the key. It reveals how space and time are stitched together. It shows that the universe is stranger and more beautiful than intuition allows. And the fact that we can understand it at all, measure it, test it, and use it to predict the future, that is the real wonder. That is physics. Not comfort, not simplicity, truth.